From Hot Springs, Arkansas, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. I'm Joey McWilliams. I'm joined today by Coach Meredith Fear from Harding, and we'll have a couple more guests on the program here as we go along. We know it's a football playoff day. It is a volleyball playoff day today. And, man, there's lots going on. There's soccer, actually, I think, going on, too. And it's crossover season. But we're going to talk some volleyball today here from Hot Springs because that's what we do. Pardon the delay there just a little bit, but we had to make sure that we weren't vertical. I don't like filming vertical.
I agree.
I'm not a guy that. I'm getting better at the shorts and the TikTok stuff.
Sure.
But vertical.
I refuse. You're better than me. I refuse.
Okay. Well, Coach Fear is the head coach for the Harding Lady Bisons and one of two teams in the championship here today for the Great American Conference tournament. And Coach, let me just ask you really quickly, because I know we've had a chance to visit before, sometimes from long distance when you were in Searcy and I was in Durant, but a couple of times you get to visit here. You make it back to the championship game again for Harding, the 9th time to be in the championship.
Wow.
Does it feel any different from time to time?
You know, yes and no. I mean, when you get here, it always seems like a toss bag, like it's a clean slate. Like you got to work hard to get here. And then once you get here, you're going to get everybody's A game. I will say though, I mean, our girls definitely have a little bit of that spirit of like, we know we belong here, and whether our exact players that have been in a championship game or have been to Hot Springs or, the freshmen coming in, there's still never a doubt on, is this a fluke or is this a mistake? Or, like we know no matter, what happens, wins and losses come, but that we belong and that we can get a win and that we can, play well for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you do year in and year out, a program that is as consistent as any in the Great American Conference.
Thank you.
I think through the regular season also, but definitely in the conference tournament and back for another opportunity. 3 conference championships to your credit already in the Great American Conference. And it's quite a run. Now you're playing the Ouachita team today that obviously you play twice a season over the course of the regular season in the 16 game Great American Conference run through the regular season, but you've never played them in the championship before.
Yeah, no, that's new.
So that definitely is that's something new. 4 times you played them in the GEC tournament.
Yeah.
All 4 times have been Harding wins.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I mean, I know that they haven't beaten us in the tournament. I couldn't have told you that it was 4 times, but I do know that they have beaten us in the last 2 years at their place. So, for sure, they've got a good thing going on. They're a really when they're playing well and they're playing confidently, they're really tough. And their offense, when they're passing well and they can run their offense the way that they want to, they keep it. Courtney their setter delivers such a great ball that her hitters are rarely off balance, leaning in, leaning off, where they're having to make up the difference. She just puts them in such a great spot that they just get to go up there, use their court vision, and swing away. And so, that's a big key to success. Is we're gonna have to pressure that pass and take options away from her. And then also though, I'll tell you what, those outsides last night, we did not notice that even when they were in a bad passing situation or one option pass situation and they just got a ball that was just thrown up to them or off a platform, they were still taking big rips deep into the court. And so, it's going to have to be a full game for us. And we know that they're capable. I think sometimes, like I said this yesterday and a few other times that we've spoken, is when the Arkansas-Oklahoma teams match up in conference tournament, your games, it's just one time. You don't prepare for each other as much year in and year out. And so you can get a weird match or fluky match. And we know each other very well. We know each other. There's going to be that level of respect for both teams. I don't think either team is going to be surprised that the other one's going to play hard or play well. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great match.
And I agree with you. And that was something when they're on, and Ouachita was definitely on last night.
For sure.
It may have gotten better as the night went on.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of those things. It's a good thing for you all that everybody went to sleep for a little while. Come back, it's a brand new day.
Yeah.
But I know you watched that. But I wanted to talk about your team as well. I mean, you have a very good setter in your own right in Olivia Weeder.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've been so appreciative of Liv. She got some playing time as a freshman that we weren't expecting, but now this year, so thankful. I think that really, her experience and being able to run the court and her connection with our middles, I think it's a double whammy for us. I think that our offensive numbers are ticking picked up from what they normally are. Usually and we still are a gritty defensive team, but it's like we will dig you to death and eventually get a kill or eventually you air. And we're doing a little bit more where we're, kills per set are a little bit higher than us, where we're able to finish a little bit more. I will give Liv a lot of credit on how she spreads the ball and how she plays that. We also made some tweaks to our system that I think is helping. But yeah, she's just really taken off this year. I'm really proud of her.
You had players that I know have seen time over the course of the regular season, but it was a different look from Thursday's quarterfinal to yesterday's semifinal.
Yeah.
And there were a number of new names that I got to call. Not that they're new to you, but new names at least from Thursday's broadcast to Friday's broadcast that came in and had an impact in the win in yesterday's semifinal win over East Central.
Yeah, absolutely. What I love most about my team is that we really are a full top to bottom team. There are no have-nots. There are no placeholders. There are no, they're role players. Like, you can't say, like, they know their role. They know what's supposed to do. Obviously, we have starters, non-starters, like all of that stuff. But it genuinely is, like, our 6-on-6 in practice is some of the best volleyball that we play. They really get after it in practice and see that level of play day in and day out, which I think is so important for having that year in, year out tradition of success. For sure. And so, yeah, like and I knew that, like, and I had a conversation with a lot of them. In Northwestern, we kept pretty much to our traditional, lineup, but there's definitely been times where we've had to switch to a 6-2. We've had to throw in a different middle. We've had to get a different look on the outside or right side. And so those girls are ready. Like, they're ready and they're hungry. And I knew that if they saw the time, like, that wasn't going to freak us out. That like, we weren't going to get flustered by that, because we don't do much in practice where it's team A, team B, or starters, non-starters. We're constantly mixing them up and having everybody play with everybody. And I think in situations where, a player goes down or gets hurt or something, you're getting stuck in a rotation, you've got to make a change, they're ready for that.
Like a Skylar McKinnon, just to bring out a point there.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
And we hope everything's okay for her as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I would ask you then about today, without revealing too many state secrets, of course,
I think she's hobbling around here on her crutches somewhere. It's on her position specifically. I think there's some spots where you tweaked an ankle and you can make it work, but with as much as an outside hitter jumps and turns, and we'll see. But again, like, even that, that's okay. I mean, terrible for her, heartbreaking for her. I hate it for her, but it's not like we're in here like, oh no, now what are we going to do? Like, we truly have belief in ourselves across the board. There's been matches where she hasn't been our kill leader or hasn't played fantastically. Obviously, there's been matches where she's gone off and just, taken it all, and those are wonderful too. But we know that we can win with our balanced offense across the board.
I understand. You have Ouachita today, and again, we've seen Ouachita, and I think that's it's a Tigers team that has gotten better as the week has gone on.
Sure.
So you face that coming in, but there's a reason that you all are the number 2 seed again this year.
Yeah.
You've had a fantastic year once again. It was 13-3 in
Yes.
GAC play this year, so that's a testament to what you've done, and again, your program. And I would mention Coach Fear is a longtime coach. Now, I say that. I'm always questioning when I say that when I have someone up here. It's going to sound like an old joke. So I'm not saying she's old.
That's fine. Say
except that the kids that she's had are now grown up and playing behind us now.
Yeah.
There's been more than one time when you brought them in the
That's
carrier.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So that's it's a different look now. But having said that, 13 years with Harding. You've been there for a while. I wanted to mention that I appreciate what you bring to the table.
Well, thank you.
It's a testament to you as a coach and your kids. All of the things you said about them, I think that's also reflective of what you've done. So I appreciate that. Then
Thanks.
Looking to the championship match today,
yes.
What does it look like?
I mean, I always, when it comes to that, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. It definitely is, though, like, to your point of what you're saying, like a family affair. So Robert and I, my husband and I, have been doing this for 13 years, all the whole time together. That comes with its rewards and challenges, and with our kids too, and they're around. And we were just talking at lunch today about the amount of sister pairs that we've had. So we have the Fouch sisters out there together.
Yes.
Last year we had the McKinnon sisters and the Hinton sisters on the team, and then many other, if you go through the years, pairs that didn't necessarily play at the same time, but in older sister pairs. And so, that is such a a core value to us and what we do is like the family aspect. And I feel like people throw that word around a lot, like this is we're a family or we're home. But what that means for us is like we do the hard work of like relationship keeping and building. Like we know that in your family, you're not always all getting along. It's not always, beautiful, but we also don't shove things under a rug, and we say what we need to say, and we do it in love. We say truth in love. And anyway, so I think that's to Robert and I, and hopefully, obviously, if you have a married partner pair, it's not every day that we've been married a long time. We've been doing this even longer than we've been married together. And so they see that in us. Like they see that good days, bad days, but then we work through it and then we work through it. And that's what we expect them to have. We're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. And the expectation is that you move forward and you work through it. So today, I don't know, man, it's going to be good. Watch. It's gonna be a really great match.
So if you're close to Hot Springs, come on out here, Banco ZK Arena. But if you're not, watch it on YouTube, GAC Athletics, and you'll get to see two very good teams squaring off against one another today. Coach Meredith here from the Harding Bisons making their, I believe, this is 9th appearance in the championship. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Cool, I'll take
One way or the other, we know that they're looking to get a 4th Great American Conference Tournament Championship in the books and see what happens from there. So,
absolutely.
Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that. And I do know, just to what she was saying too, Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet is around the facilities here as well. And it is nice to have someone get to be a part and share that time together and grow. So we're going to get to hear from the other coach from today's championship match here in just a moment. Coach Allison Frizzell Kaiser from the Ouachita Baptist Tigers is heading this way here in just a little bit. At least I hope she's heading this way. I think she is. In the meantime, football playoffs are going on. I know there have been some playoff games that we have been covering a lot here. Come on in, Coach. Covering a lot, and we'll get a chance to talk about them just a little bit more later. I want to make sure, though, that we didn't have dead air in between. So I'm just going to keep talking because that's what I do. But now that you're here, we'll talk volleyball again here. Coach Allison Frizzell Kaiser from the Ouachita Baptist Tigers. I've seen different things. Is it 6 years or 7 years that you're there? Because my notes had 7.
This is 7. Okay. Year 7. Yep.
I was right. Okay, I just want to point that out. Just for the record, my notes were right.
Yes, absolutely.
That makes me feel better. We can end the program right there, and I can walk off and feel good about things. No, it's 7 years with the program. I knew it had been a while.
Yes.
And I remember when you were a first-year coach, too. And,
yeah.
I definitely have a lot to say about the growth of the program in your time there. But congratulations for making it to the championship game. Talk about that a little bit.
Man, history. Right? It's definite history. So we're just excited. Like, I mean, we've been showing a lot of grit. Our girls are locked in, focused. I don't know. It's just been fun. Like, I just can't say anything else besides history right now.
You have a chance, and here's another one of those fun statistics, which we'll drop this on the broadcast today, too. Again, YouTube, GAC Athletics, that's where you get to watch this. It's a 3 o'clock Central Standard Time start for First Serve today, with the national anthem and announcements and all that good stuff. But tune in for that. It should be a very good match. Yesterday, the history that was made, you all had made it previously to the Great American Conference semifinals 4 times and hadn't been able to go on. Yesterday, you break the 0-4 streak.
Great.
Well, today, a different 0-4 streak. So you faced Harding 4 times in the Great American Conference tournament, and Harding's gotten the better of you, so maybe you extend that again. Take another one where 0-4, we're gonna get the 1 column there.
That's awesome.
So that's your history to do there. This Harding team is a challenging team year in and year out. And
yeah,
I know you get a chance to see them twice a year, at least regular season. Talk about playing them.
Yeah. I just love a good challenge. Like we play Harding, like you said, all the time, and I think they're just a good, solid team year in and year out. They're never rebuilding. They're just like reloading. And so it's always fun to coach against Meredith, and because she's very knowledgeable. So, but we're excited for today.
I think, and if you watched the semifinal match yesterday, I'm not sure there was any team in the tournament, which I know 1-8 generally we talk about here in the Great American Conference. 1-8 usually has an opportunity to at least be playing on Saturday and could make something happen. But the way you all were playing yesterday, it would have been a challenge for any other team to beat you all. You've gotten better as the week has gone on.
Thank you.
And I'll mention a couple of players specifically. Kayla Bedford yesterday, after a match on Thursday in which her statistics were probably not what any of you all wanted.
Right.
They were not as good. You get the win, and it's a team sport, and I know that
Absolutely.
she's going to be a team player and get out there.
Absolutely.
It was a complete turnaround yesterday. She actually set a GAC record, tournament record for kills for a 4-set match.
Wow. Go
she had
Kaylee.
27. I thought she had 28, but anyway, they didn't ask me. But she had 27 kills. That's nearly 7 kills a set. What an evening for her.
Absolutely, yeah. So we talk about, you said it being a team sport, and whatever your role is at that moment, make sure you give it like all you got. So when Kaylee wasn't playing the best game on Thursday, we got to give props to Savannah. So Savannah has done everything in practice we asked her to do, and she takes every rep seriously. And then we even put her like on the scout team, and so she takes that role seriously. And then when we say when your number is called, you be ready to go. And then Savannah did that. Okay. And what's Kaylee doing on the bench? Cheering.
Exactly.
Cheering her like heart out. And they're sweet mates, so like they live together, So, and then we go back to our normal routine. Kaylee goes back to start, goes lights out. I mean, her role now in that moment is to be our outside hitter go-to. And so you take whatever role it is and you give it the best, because at the end of the day, the whole team gets the dub. So I know how she is, like what type of person she is. So I know she said this, all glory to God. That's all what
pretty
that
much
is.
verbatim.
Yeah, all
So-
glory to God. So
And by the way, here on Midwest Sportsnet, that's a phrase we have no problem using.
Fantastic.
We're happy to do that. So you're in the right place, Coach.
Awesome.
Kaylee would be in the right place if we get a chance to visit her and talk about that. I'll mention one other name too, because of the play, and I know this is not just this year, it's not just this week.
Right.
But Courtney Hansen
Oh,
was just
phenomenal.
phenomenal. Yeah, that's probably the best word. It's definitely the word that I would use for her play and what she not only brings to the table, but
Right.
what she has done.
Absolutely.
And especially this week, she's been everywhere. She's been a force with how she's played.
Right.
But the leadership that it's visible.
Right,
On
absolutely.
the court, when she's out there, she brings leadership to the table.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have, me in particular, has no problem being like, hey, run the offense. Like, you're out there playing, you know your girls, you know your team, you feel it, you go. And then if I have a suggestion, she's like, got it. And then we do it. And if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, I go back, like, hey, whatever you want, go. And so I think it starts with the respect that we have for each other, an open door policy, open communication policy, and then she leads that in her team. And her IQ, her volleyball IQ, is insane, like just absolutely insane. So, young setters out there, make sure you watch Courtney Hansen. Okay.
She definitely, she will bring it. Well, I know it's game day, so I
Right.
want to give you
Thank
an
you.
opportunity to get back to your team here in just a moment and say thank you also for being
Thank you.
with us here on Midwest Sportsnet and getting to visit about the championship. Before I ask you the last question, let me say I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
7 seasons at the helm, and Ouachita has gotten better in your time in leadership there. We see these things over the years, and you see some teams that are, perennially there, and sometimes maybe a team doesn't show up to the conference tournament, and it's all kinds of things that could be
Right,
happening for that. Maybe it's just a bad year, maybe it's an injury, whatever the case
Right.
may be. But since you've been there, Ouachita has continually been back in the conference tournament, and now after this time, year after year, you kind of build back up. Sometimes
Right.
it takes a
Right.
step or two
Yep.
to get to the championship
Right,
match,
right.
and then even to push it on through.
Right.
So congratulations
Thank
to you.
you.
I want to say, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Coach Danny Prescott was singing your praises yesterday
Oh, he's
on the
amazing.
broadcast, and he's amazing too.
great,
Former
yeah.
Ouachita volleyball coach and Danny Prescott.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let you know that I think you're doing a good job,
Thank
and I
you.
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate
Now,
that.
today's match.
Yes.
It's nothing easy.
No,
You're the
not at
5
all.
seed, so you get to wear those black jerseys again.
Well, I think we're wearing white
Okay. Are
because
you?
Harding had black clean.
Okay.
So we're going to wear white.
Well, there we go. In theory, you would be wearing the dark jersey.
And I would have washed them for sure. So I did the night before.
Well, and I don't know. Sometimes people get really superstitious.
we got a few of those on our team.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
going to say, you
We
you
got
wanna
a
do
few. Mm-hmm.
everything the same. You've got to eat the same place. You have to eat the same food. You have to wake up at the same. As long as you're winning, do everything the same. So I'm hoping the jersey switch doesn't trip that up for anybody mentally. But that having been said,
Yeah.
you're going out there, the 5 seed taking the 2. It's
Yep.
not an easy task.
No, not at all.
Talk about today's match and what do you see?
I guess I'm going to tune in as well.
Okay.
I know the girls they're locked in. They're excited. We had a couple ice baths last night. We got our athletic trainer here doing his thing. But I think the girls are ready to go. They know the goal, and there's no pressure. Like, there's literally no pressure. We're just making history. Being that is, amazing, but they know that God's the reason that we got here. So
Because, by the way, we talked about that. I'm going to visit with my broadcast partner here in just a moment, but we talked as many times as as many times as Brazil was swinging, Bedford was swinging, and Evans was. They didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
We knew there was going to be some ice last night.
yeah, no, Emily Adams on the right side,
Adams.
she went off too. Like, she's one person that if you have to give a ball to, you just go to. So yeah, Emily Adams is just
Fantastic.
amazing. So
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your
Yeah,
time. And
thank you.
leave that microphone
Yes, sir.
right there. And,
Thank you.
Good luck to you all.
Thank you so much.
Later on today. 3 o'clock tip time. My mic on? We still on? Oh, okay. Just need to bring it up a little bit. All right. Well, come on over here, Courtney. I could probably speak a little bit louder. That would be fine too. But it's okay. I appreciate Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet for being a floor director today, and I hope that you can still hear me. So we'll check on that. Let me know, by the way, if it doesn't work out well. Courtney Cunningham has just stepped in here now, and she's my broadcast partner on the Great American Conference Sports Network for this weekend of volleyball. First time I've had an opportunity to work with Courtney, and it's just been a privilege to get to do that. I'm thankful to get to sit next to you and talk about volleyball this week. Your first time then not seeing the GAC tournament because you're a former coach, assistant coach in the Great American Conference, but it's your first time to have the headset on. How's it been?
It's been good. It's been a different look, obviously, seeing the game from a little bit of a different angle, not being coaching on the sidelines, but more talking about both teams as it's happening. Has definitely been a different experience for me. I've really enjoyed it, but a little bit outside my comfort zone.
Well, that's good. That's all right. Now, I mentioned former assistant coach with Northwestern Oklahoma State. Were you there 3 years?
I was there 3 years,
3
yes.
years.
Yeah.
And currently the head volleyball coach for the Lion Scots. Now, we're here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Lion is in Batesville, just a couple hours down the road from here. Talk about your experience there and tell us a little bit about that program.
Yeah, so I've been coaching at Lion for 3 years now, and it has honestly been a really good move. The teams I've had over the past 3 years have been really fun to coach. Being at Lion also has a really family atmosphere, and that's something that being 12 hours from home has been a big impact for me. But over this past season, we finished 20-9. We are also in a transition period of going from NAI to NCAA Division III. And so we will be eligible for postseason play in 2025. So in the meantime, we've been competing in the USCAA. And so with that, we were able to go to nationals. We were the 3rd seed in the tournament, and we finished runner-up, taking down the number 1 seed, playing Shaw University in the championship match. And we had played them our first game at the tournament. And so that was definitely a battle. Our girls had to really fight. But we finished runner-up, and it's been a really good season. We had 3 girls that were first-team All-American in the USCAA, and I think we were the only team to have 3 girls in that first team.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I knew that Lion was, by the way, you're sporting the Lion colors today, too.
I am. This is my Lion fit.
Absolutely. So if you're watching this at home, Coach is representing.
Yes.
So make no mistake. Okay. I don't normally have the jacket on with this particular mic, so I'm glad that we're informed. So if there's been a couple of times where you didn't hear me as well, that's probably just as well. You hear me all the time on this channel. We're here for the guests today, so we want to make sure that they get their say in all of that. Watching this tournament, it's been a fun tournament. 6 matches already in the books. 1 more today, again, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. That is going to be on YouTube, GAC Athletics, if you want to look that up. So you want to stop by and watch Harding taking on Ouachita. A little bit outside of your comfort zone. I think you've done a great job, though, and I appreciate getting to visit with you on the air about these 2 teams, about this tournament as a whole. Let's talk about the tournament first before we get into the championship match. It's been a good tournament. A couple of upsets. I think that the 5 over the 1 obviously was the big one yesterday when Ouachita was able to take down Southwestern Oklahoma. And as good a team as Coach Collins' team is historically and is this year, 15-1 in conference play, the Tigers they just came to play yesterday.
They did, and that's the fun thing about tournament season is it's back to 0-0, and everybody just leaves it on the line during tournament play, and so that's always fun to see, and it's also fun to be in those situations as a coach as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask really quickly: is the audio still okay? Or we? Okay. All right. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna continue on here really quickly, and I'll ask about today's match then. Harding, the number 2 seed, taking on a Ouachita team. Harding 4-0 all-time against Ouachita in the tournament. What do you see from each of these teams today? We'll start with Harding.
Starting with Harding, I think, something we've seen from them, not just this season, this tournament, but they're always very composed. And they don't let too many things frazzle them. And so I think we're probably going to see that again today, is they're going to probably be a little calm, but they're also going to be ready to work. And then kind of looking at Ouachita, if we want to move on to Ouachita. Okay. Looking at Ouachita, they've played great the past 2 days, and they've brought a lot of fire and energy on the court. And so I'm curious if they're going to bring that same fire and energy today, because they have put a lot of energy and effort into the past 2 matches.
It's tough to do that 3 days in a row.
It really is. And leaving all of that on the floor the past 2 days, I'm curious if they can bring it one more day.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Frizzell Kaiser said there were ice baths last night, and we mentioned that too. Yeah. Someone's going to get iced today because they just kept swinging and kept swinging and kept. We look forward to seeing how this matchup goes today. Harding's been here before. Ouachita, first trip to the championship match. So this one should be a lot of fun. We're going to wrap things up here from Hot Springs. I do want to say again that we're going to be talking about football either tomorrow night or Monday night on the channel. And I believe it's likely to be tomorrow night that we'll talk about first round playoff matches. We have a number of those. Specifically, we've been covering the NAIA here on Midwest Sportsnet. Friends and OUAZ already underway. I know that's in the second quarter by now. We know there are 3 games in Kansas today. Another one that was just kicking off just a moment ago as Baker was hosting Pikeville. We also know another big one from the state of Kansas Southwestern hosting St. Francis of Indiana. And then Kansas Wesleyan, the only Kansas team that had to travel on the road up at Dickinson State. We're going to talk about all those matchups a little bit later on. No scores to give you right now. I know most of you may be watching that anyway, but we'll talk about that. In the meantime, I want to say thank you again to Courtney Cunningham for sitting in, also the coaches from Harding and Meredith Fear and Baptist and Allison Frizzell Kaiser for sitting in as well here on Midwest Sportsnet. Thank you to my production crew who's been a part of that. Of course, Mrs. Midwest Sportsnet, I appreciate that. She's been able to be with me in Hot Springs this weekend, and I've been very grateful for that. That doesn't happen all the time on some of these broadcast trips, so I appreciate that as well. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. No big deal. We would just love to have you subscribe, and we will talk more, I believe, on Sunday night about NAIA football, and then a whole big week after that. By the way, we're going to be Midwest Sports Saturday, programming note, final thing, we will be in Fort Worth, Texas, realistically just south of Fort Worth proper at Crowley ISD next Saturday as Texas Wesleyan football is to host a football playoff game, second round game. We'll talk about that a whole lot more on the week, but that's where we're going to be next Saturday, so be sure to tune in for that. In the meantime, for Courtney, I'm Joey McWilliams. God bless you all. Have a great, great Saturday.